As you step in, make sure to hit the like button. I really would appreciate that. You see the subject matter. Normally, I drop the link, and I might drop the link later. But right now, I want to explain how all this is intertwined, because it is. And it also shows you the hypocrisy among the people and why there is such a divide. One of the reasons why there's such a divide in this country. We all know what's happened over the weekend, unfortunately, with Mr. Sam Presti. Now, he was allegedly an ICU nurse who got unalived, as we know, by ICE agents. From all reports, he was allegedly either coming to the aid of someone or interfering. It depends on, I guess, which side of the fence you're on, because we really don't know. But what we do know is that he had a firearm with him, and he was licensed to carry. We do know that Minnesota is one of those licensed to carry states. We got that. And he also had some ammo along with him. Now, again, if it's a peaceful protest, what are you doing with ammunition? That was one of the questions raised, and I, in fact, raised that question myself, but I digress. But here's where the problem comes in, ladies and gentlemen. What's not being brought up is one Kyle Rittenhouse. And for those of you who forgot, and sometimes we do forget, and sometimes, unfortunately, people have a revisionist history when it comes to certain things. But what I'm going to do, hey, misunderstood. Thank you for joining me. And I'm glad you did join me. In fact, you know what? I am going to now drop just a moment. It's been a while since I've done that. I will invite you as a guest. I'm going to drop the link here. And keep in mind, right now, I'm only dropping the link for Misunderstood for right now. I hope you do see the link there. Now, we all know what happened with Kyle Rittenhouse, which is so crazy how he got acquitted. I mean, please give me a break. That's the hypocrisy when it comes down to, and the nerve of him. In fact, we'll get to him a little. And Kyle Rittenhouse has had the nerve to open his mouth and criticize Hakeem Jeffries, and I get it. First of all, he should be quiet because we all know that he should be in jail for what he did. He should be doing life. But I digress, and this is the problem that they have here. Now, let me go back to the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. And this happened 6 years ago, 2020. Now, he shot 3 men, killing 2 and injuring a third in Wisconsin at a Black Lives Matter protest. Now, he was 17 at the time, and he argued that he fired in self-defense after the men attacked him. And of course, he was acquitted on all charges. What a joke. What an absolute joke that is. Now it was he had an assault rifle. So you talk about someone who shouldn't have bought anything there. There's no way you can convince me that Kyle Rittenhouse had the right to carry an AK-47. And what kills me is the Black Lives Matter protests were nowhere near as violent as the but I digress. And then the nerve of Rittenhouse to even say anything. Instead of just being quiet, much like George Zimmerman, but that's another story. That's I won't go there. I'm just going to leave it as at Rittenhouse and Mr. Philando Castile because the other thing is totally different. Hey, cynical one, how are you? And he had the nerve to post on X, carry everywhere, it's your right, shall not be infringed. Ugh. Now, it's very sad that this has become a political fodder. But now let me go to Philando Castile, who happened to be in his own vehicle. This was a routine traffic stop, allegedly. And he was fatally shot in 2016. And the reason I bring it up is because this was also in Minnesota. It was just outside of Minneapolis, Falcon Heights, Minnesota. And his girlfriend and his daughter were in the car. Now, Castile informed the officer that he had a legally carried firearm. Now, he was shot multiple times by the so-called police officer, Geronimo Yanez, after Yanez perceived movement. Mind you, he was the one who asked for him to get his license, which is all he was doing was getting his license. The firearm was not even on him, for crying out loud. And of course, he was acquitted of all charges. I mean, what a joke. Now, and this is not going to be, I might not be long. It's amazing how, and if you remember also, here's the problem, and this is why I can't always back. I'm just not a fan of President Trump. I'm just not. He had the nerve to call Rittenhouse a good young man. I don't know if people remember that or not. Are you kidding me? But then again, this is the same man who said that there were good people in Charlottesville during their protests, and they protested with hoodies and I forget. Oh, I can't even think of them now. I know they had lit up things, but those so-called protesters in Charlottesville who looked like the freaking Klan, they were good people, according to the president. You can't have it both ways. You can't pick and choose which one is good and which one isn't. And unfortunately, matter of Philando Castile, he didn't have a choice. First of all, that cop has got to be beyond stupid. He had his girlfriend and his child in there. Why would he reach for his gun? That makes absolutely no sense. And I don't want to hear it was a lack of training. It was a lack of common damn sense. That's all it was. And the sadder part is his family is left without any justice. The family of the two people who got killed, unalive by Kyle Rittenhouse will never see justice. He got acquitted. Now, I can guarantee you that those ICE agents will not get acquitted for killing Mr. Presti. And I'm not saying that's right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not. But what I am saying is there's a different set of rules. And it's shown again when it comes to us. See, I see what's going on here. See, they're trying to equate the ICE protesters with the Black Lives Matter protesters, with the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s. They're trying to equate that with this, and it's not. The ICE agents are there to get rid of people who are here illegally. That is totally different from our people fighting for basic civil rights. Remember, people, we are still listed as 3/5 human in the Constitution. Never forget that. And I understand about the Civil Rights Act. I get it. The Civil Rights Act actually helped everybody but black folk, but that's another story, and that's another video. In fact, I've done that video too many times to count, but of course, history continues to repeat itself, so I'll probably end up doing it again, just as a refresher. It's amazing. Kyle Rittenhouse can walk around with an AK-47, and he had people hit his GoFundMe, all types of garbage. But there is nothing for the victims of the families that had two people lose their lives due to his vigilante actions. Philando Castile didn't know that a routine traffic stop about a broken headlight would cost him his life. I understand that Mr. Presti didn't think that he would lose his life that day. I get it. And my prayers go out to him and his family. But you also don't interfere with an ICE agent while they're in the middle of doing their job. Mr. Castile never did that. He was complying and got unalived. Kyle Rittenhouse decided he was going to be Dirty Harry and make his day because he was just blinded with whatever he felt, whether it was racism, whether it was vigilantism, or a mixture of both. I'm leaning towards the latter. And he gets acquitted. You know, and here's the thing also. If you notice, the Minnesota officials, the mayors, the governor, Congress people in Minnesota, when it came to Philando Castile, it was crickets. They said absolutely nothing. When it came to Kyle Rittenhouse, President Trump called him a courageous man. He was a great man. He was a nice young man. Also, your vice president, J.D. Vance, said that as well. They backed him. Of course, J.D. Vance was not the vice president at that time. Remember, that was during the first Trump administration, where Mike Pence, of course, was the vice president. But I do find it very funny that there's a different set of rules when it comes to who's protesting and the shade of the type of protest. So I guess if it doesn't fit the narrative, it doesn't really matter. Because you look at the people who are being unalived by ICE agents, there's a different narrative. Now, the first young lady who got unalived, you hit an ICE agent, please. I mean, you can make a case that she was looking for suicide by ICE agent. You can make a case. The second person, thank goodness they'll live, even though they did get shot in the leg. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing that he got shot in the leg, but it is a good thing that he'll be around to tell his story. We can't say the same for Philando Castile. We can't say the same for Mr. Presti. How much longer can we hide the hypocrisy? When are we going to acknowledge that there is a huge problem in the United States? And when are we going to talk about and come to a resolution? And you'll hear the people talk about, well, you know what? I'm tired of hearing about race. I'm tired of hearing about this. I'm tired of hearing about that. Well, you know what? Well, stop reminding us that there is a problem here. Do something to fix it so we don't have to worry about it. And I'm not picking a side. I'm not saying that the Democrats are right or the Republicans are right. It's about right and wrong. It's not about party lines. It's right and wrong. There's no gray area. You're either on the side of right or you're on the side of wrong. Well, it doesn't look like anyone is going to hit the link here. I did leave it for misunderstood, and maybe there's a problem. I know StreamYard sometimes does that. And maybe I should leave it. You know what? I'm going to try my community page. Give me 1 second. All right, I'm back. I did leave it on my community page just in case you were trying to hit the link. And again, this just for this particular time, I'm just leaving the link for misunderstood. Because normally when I hit the link, I invite everybody, but this is actually just for misunderstood. Now, if she chooses not to hit the link, that's another thing. But I just wanted to know what her thoughts would be in regards to how I'm comparing all three instances. And if you want to say it's comparing apples to oranges, to a point, yes, and to a point, no. If you want to say the Rittenhouse and Presti thing is closer together, that's a fair assumption. I get it. But again, Rittenhouse carried an AK-47 outwardly, which was illegal, by the way. He was too young to even brandish a firearm. And nothing happened to this young man. Nothing. There wasn't a shot fired by a police officer. This guy got to do the perp walk. Could you imagine a 17-year? I mean, let's say a 17-year-old Jamal Henderson, just throwing a name out there, young black male. If he even has he might have got shot if he had a water gun. And we know that. And I want to hear somebody say different. Please. We don't even have to be armed. Ask Amadou Diallo. Ask Sean Bell. But I digress. You know, Fernando Castile was complying with the officer, and he ends up getting unalived. And when you look at the ICE agents, they don't even have the backing of the police in Minnesota. I mean, they're pretty much out there naked. In fact, we've seen where police officers were attacking the ICE agents. I mean, not physically, but they were attacking them verbally, which we know is a whole different type of deal. And they do have the right to free speech, even though we know that free speech is not free. It will be interesting to see what happens, because I'm pretty sure there will be a lawsuit. We know there'll be a lawsuit against the young lady who got unalived, even though there really should not be one. She hit an ICE agent, for crying out loud. But Mr. Presti is a totally different deal. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out in a court of law. But I really pray I pray for America. A house divided cannot stand. And this is not the America that me and my ancestors fought for. Whether it be through the military, whether it be through voting, whether it be through the civil rights movement. It's called the United States of America for a reason. And one of the things about our people, many of us, is despite what's happened to us in this country, we remain very loyal to this country. because this country has the potential to be exceedingly great. I think in many ways it does scratch the surface of being great, but it's not always great. And looking at the way that people are conducting themselves during these protests, it's pretty much proving my point about how far away from greatness we truly are. And this is not to say that America is not a great place to live or a great place to be. It's wonderful, but it could be better. It could be much better. And we don't want it to get worse. Well, it looks like I won't have anybody hit this. I'll leave it one more time. But it looks like no, I guess nobody will hit the link, and that's fine. But I just wanted to point out the hypocrisies in each of those either protests or internet interactions with law enforcement, and how there truly is a different set of rules. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Uncle Claude signing out. I'd like to thank Misunderstood. I'd like to thank the Cynical One, all those in the clouds, all those in the bushes. Uncle Claude once again signing out. Take care, stay safe. God bless, and let's pray that this country heals and becomes stronger and not make a detour. Take care, everybody.